This is real. It's not a joke. It's official. Guys, you know me, I'm half up. I like to joke. I like to have a laugh. But guys, this is very serious right now. Because there are a few things I need to clear up here. Okay, there are a few home truths because this requires a lot of dissection. And so press pause on the vid. Get a meal. Get a drink. Set yourself down because we're going to really dissect this because this has far-reaching analysis that I will get through. So, Carlo Ancelotti by Bayern Munich was given this. He was given this. He's out. It's official. He's out. Got sent off. It's not coming back on that pitch. I want to read a phrase here. I've got to, give a shout out to BayernStrikes.com. Bayern Munich President Uli Hoeneß claims Carlo Ancelotti lost the trust of at least 5 key players in the Bavarian locker room. The enemy in your bed is the most dangerous. Uli Hoeneß used this phrase to explain why Bayern Munich sacked Carlo Ancelotti. As a coach, you can't have your most prominent players as enemies. In my life, I've learned a saying, the enemy in your own bed is the most dangerous. That is why we had to act. The fact that, in my opinion, in the past few days, the coach turned 5 important players against him. Coman, to whom he also didn't let play, at a stroke, he never would have made it. This is deep. Because let's now look at the connective tissue. Why weren't Ribery and Robben picked for that game against PSG? But the very fact that you knew that they were both fit. Now, we can look at the whole tactical tip, but with Carlo Ancelotti sacking and Uli Hoeneß saying that, remember, a junior player isn't really going to go against a manager. A senior player who's been there for a long time will do that. Ribery, Robben, these are the senior dudes. Muller, because I can bet right now, Ribery was one of those. Robben was one of those. Lewandowski was one of those. Muller was one of those. And maybe even Hummels. I think these were the 5. I remember he said key prominent players. And I think these were the 5 guys that did it. But I think definitely the real core guys, Robben, Muller, Ribery. I think those are the core guys. Because those, you have Ribery and Robben who are the older heads, the older men. And you've got Muller who's like the Bavarian. So Bayern Munich made the right decision. 100% this was the right decision. That's the first thing. Because you have to, once you lose the locker room, that is it. You can have bad results, bad performances, people not playing well. Once you lose the dressing room, that's it. You never lose a dressing room and win it back. That never happens in football. Once you lose the dressing room, it's finished. Same thing happened with Mourinho and Chelsea. Same thing happened with Benitez and Real Madrid. They lost the dressing room and there was no coming back. Who's to blame? Ancelotti or the players? Now, if you're a manager, you're a leader of men. I keep on saying this. And it is your job to get people on your side. And for Ancelotti, you may say that, look, you are supposed to make sure that the players are all singing from the same sheet of music that you have produced and orchestrated. They weren't doing so. Are the players at fault? Because was this a case of where the players, did they not, because again, we do not know this, but again, I'm trying to play both sides. Was it a case of where the players couldn't understand the tactics and Ancelotti couldn't find a midway point? Was it the fact that the players didn't try hard enough to understand where he was coming from? Or was it the fact that the players were just at odds with what he was trying to teach footballing-wise and his philosophy? Because let's now go even deeper. When Pep Guardiola left Barcelona, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was either Villanova or Martino that took over. I think it was Villanova. And it was pretty much, they never really strayed from the Guardiola tactics and the philosophy. And the guy that strayed the furthest away from it was Tata Martino, and we all know how that ended up. So Guardiola coming into Bayern Munich right now, and this is something that I talked about before. He is a micromanager. So think about this on a realistic tip. If in training you are given detailed instructions, During a game, you are given detailed instructions and you are coached ad nauseum throughout every single minute of the game. And your football is based on where you have to be positionally in every game. It's passing based, short passes, and everything's about being very strict and rigid to how you're supposed to be played, which is a very intricate pass-based philosophy. When you switch from that into a guy like Ancelotti, who is like, he's old school. He's like, yeah, this is the general blueprint that I want. Free-flowing, our wingers, but I'm going to give you a platform. Because when I get in a match, because we already talked about what we have in the training ground, but right now it's not time for you to interpret my 4-4-2, free-flowing, attacking, old-school, total football way of playing. But for players who for 3 years, 3 years is a long time, for 3 years who have been used to micromanagement, switching to a much more laissez-faire approach, it may be very hard to make that switch because you're like, okay, I need some coaching. And then, it just doesn't flow. So I think, at the end of the day, this was a case of where it just wasn't a right fit. But there's something I want to add here. Because people are now saying now, oh, this proves that Ancelotti is no longer a great manager. This proves that Guardiola really is a better manager than Ancelotti. How many trophies did Guardiola win with Man City? Low. I'm hearing crickets. How many trophies? How many? Okay, good, thank you. This is not me hating on Guardiola. But to open your mouth and say that Guardiola is now a better manager because of what has happened to Ancelotti is completely stupid. Remember, Guardiola is a younger manager, a younger coach, and he is a coach of his time. And this is what I said for Ancelotti. Ancelotti, do you know what this guy built a dynasty with AC Milan, a flipping dynasty, and it's very clear that he's a coach out of time. And remember, when you're a manager and you're a coach, you are dogged in your tactics and philosophy. There is no coach in history who has completely changed their philosophy. That just doesn't happen because a manager and a coach, because again, like if I was a manager or a coach, I have my philosophy of how I play. It's almost similar to how whenever you play Pro Evo of FIFA, there is a way in which you play. There's a way in which you move the ball, and you don't really change that. You may tweak it, but there's a natural way of how you view the game. So the way Ancelotti views the game isn't conducive and doesn't fit with 2017. In a world where it's about wing backs, it's about micromanagement, it's about intense coaching, it's about everybody knowing their positions, it's about a lot more of the ball movement. We're living in a time where the coach is far more important than he has ever been in the history of the game. And for Ancelotti, you have to get with that program because that is just how things are flowing right now. So, and it just wasn't a right fit. It just wasn't a right fit because, again, the Real Madrid player, because remember, for Zidane, it says Zidane is taking a very similar approach to Ancelotti. Because I bet you if you took the Ancelotti right down to Real Madrid, they would still ball. But for Bayern Munich, it's just obvious that those players right there, they need much more market management. But there's a deeper thing as well. Personnel. I don't know who the hell Tolisso is. I don't know who he is. Ribery is too old. You know what? I'm a bit to Bayern fans, but Ribery is too old. I'll always need to defend Robin, so you'll never hear me hit Robin slander, but Robin just needs some support. I will never, in my entire life, ever slander Arjen Robben. It's never going to happen. But Robin is just too old. So, they didn't get a major star. James doesn't count as a major star. And that really hurt them, because again, you're rolling with guys who are perhaps a bit too old to really ride. Going forward, what do Bayern do now? If I was advising the Bayern, Uli Hoeneß or Rummenigge, I would tell these guys that you need to get a coach that can get you the best out of a Lewandowski. That's the key thing. Because for me, that's the first thing I'll say to the guys is that 100%, you have an absolutely amazing strike on your hands. And you need to get a coach who can get Bayern Munich playing almost similar to Dortmund. You've got to go back to short passes, intricate passes, much more movement. James playing in the 10, and for me, but there are issues because, as I say again, you can bring in the best coach in the world. Ribery is too old. Robin needs assistance. Robin maybe cannot give you 90 minutes of quality like he used to. Tolisso, he's average. Coman gives you 10 good minutes, but afterwards he's very predictable. So the personnel doesn't exist to right. The defense is fine. Rafinha is garbage. He needs to be shipped over to Siberia. I will buy his first class ticket. He needs to go to Siberia right now. But this is sad, and I beg people to show some respect, because I think it's a lack of class and a lack of disrespect to come and say, Ancelotti is crap, look at he's useless, look at how it just shows how much better Guardiola is. At the end of the day, Ancelotti still won the Bundesliga in his first season. Guardiola, okay, did he win the Bundesliga? He won the Bundesliga, but did he win the Champions League? He was brought to win the Champions League. So guys, don't get it twisted again. This is not me hating on Guardiola, but how successful was Guardiola? With that team he had, with a Xabi Alonso, with Bart Simpson, did he win a Champions League? No, he didn't win a Champions League because that's what he was brought in for. And remember, he did take over a team that already won the treble under the great Jupp Heynckes. So guys, let's just be real and let's just not try and switch the narrative to suit our needs. Let's just try and be objective here. That's what I ask, objectivity. It's sad, it's unfortunate. And Ancelotti just has to think right now, because I think for Ancelotti right now, you know, I still think he's a great manager and he's a great coach, but I think he has to this is the decision he needs to make. Either think of retirement, or you've got to choose a team that you connect with. This team and Bayern, so obviously they did connect and it did not flow. But for Bayern, they've got to move on. It's a bit too hard for me to put me on the spot and say who's the right manager for them. I don't think Tuchel. I'm not sure whether Tuchel is the right guy. But the reason why I like Tuchel is that if you can say, Tuchel, bring us your ideas, I think he can make Bayern far more exciting and maybe bring that short pass into it. And the key thing, I think Tuchel's ideas may work well with Lewandowski, who was at his best with the Dortmund ideology and mind frame, which was similar to Klopp's and similar to Tuchel. So maybe Tuchel could bring the best out of Lewandowski and get him to really connect with Thiago, Ribery, Robin, and so forth. But yeah, guys, it's sad. It's unfortunate. But here it is. But guys, all I ask is be objective and be respectful.